Okay, let's say we want to find out the acceleration of a tennis racket after it hits a tennis ball. Okay, let's see what we know about the racket. We know that the racket has a mass of 5 kilograms. And let's say we're given that the tennis ball has a mass of 3 kilograms and an acceleration of 25 meters per second squared. So now, given that information, we can determine the acceleration of the tennis racket after it hits a tennis ball. We should recognize this as an implementation of Newton's third law of motion. For every action there's an equal and opposite reaction, so we use Newton's second law, the equation force equals mass times acceleration, to find the force on the tennis ball itself. So force is equal to 3 times 25, since the mass is 3 kilograms and the acceleration is 25 meters per second squared on the tennis ball. And 3 times 25 is 75, and we know that the unit for force is newtons. So now we can transfer that force onto the racket itself and use that same equation, but we're going to rearrange it to solve for acceleration. Acceleration equals force divided by mass. Now, the acceleration in this case, since we know from the force on the ball itself is 75 newtons, and it's transferred onto the tennis racket, we divide 75 by 5, which is the mass of the tennis racket itself, and 75 times 5 is 15, and the unit for acceleration is meters per second squared. So now we have our answer, which is 15 meters per second squared is the acceleration of the tennis racket.